Senate Bill 56 by Senator Holbert and Gonzales and Representative Van Winkle and Gray concerning the expansion of their opportunities to administer medical marijuana at school to a student with a valid medical marijuana recommendation.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 56, the Education Committee report, and the Appropriations Committee report.
Thank you. That is a proper motion. Is there any discussion to the committee report? To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Education Committee, the committee adopted a series of amendments, 4, I believe. One is critical, and really the change, the advance that will be made in this bill. In order for cannabis-based medicine to be dispensed on school property by someone who works for the school, we'll need from the parent a doctor's recommendation as described in the Constitution, and then precise dosage instructions that list the specific product, the amount, the time, every 4 hours, every 6 hours, but those dosage instructions. And with those two things, we're providing school nurses the fundamentals of a prescription. We're not able to give a prescription. That's not contemplated in the Constitution, but finally we have found a way to get the information to the school nurses so that they can work under the delegated authority of a medical doctor. That was one of the critical amendments. Also, we exempted out private schools. If a private school wants to accommodate this, great, focus on this, that's fine, or not allow it, that would also be fine. Also, schools on federal land can be exempted if they need to be. We do have some public schools that are on military installations, for instance. And if the federal government says this is not allowed, then those schools don't have to do it. And then finally, more clarification on federal funding. There is concern that abiding by such state law might put federal funding at risk. That has not happened here in Colorado, and it did not happen under the Obama administration. And then there was a significant change. It didn't happen under the Trump administration, and now we've had another significant change, and I see no indication that it would actually happen under the Biden administration. So that's a review of the changes made in the Education Committee report. Ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the Appropriations report, Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Appropriations Committee appropriately appropriated $15,419 to pay for expenses at the Department of Law. Ask for an aye vote.
That is an appropriate response. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Appropriation Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the report is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Would the clerk please read Amendment L006?
Amendment L006 to Senate Bill 56.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L006.
Is there any discussion? Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, you may want to come down and get a copy of L006. This is very, very detailed. The drafter did find in a couple of places that there were unnecessary quote marks and also plurals where it should have been singular. So I believe if you go through lines 1 through 15 of the L006, I think that, or 14, that would cover the excluding the unnecessary quote marks and or plurals. And then on lines 16 through 20, another amendment requested, dun, 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 by the Colorado Education Association, otherwise known as the Teachers Union, with whom I would never work with cooperatively, would I? Absolutely. Lines 16 through 20 exempts teachers who are covered by Title 22, and that is an appropriate motion, or appropriate request for an amendment. Ask for an aye vote on L006.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is of the adoption of Amendment L006. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Would the clerk please read Amendment L007?
Amendment L007 to Senate Bill 56.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L007.
That is a proper motion. Please explain your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. L007 continues the discussion that some schools, particularly a shout out to those at Adams 12, to clarify that the dispensing instructions be repeated through this bill and what would become law. They understood what the dispensing instructions related to, what it referred to, but they asked that it be added in 2 additional places. Then also, lines 15 through 18, just further clarification that people who work in our schools, whether they're school nurses or teachers or coaches or whatever, administrators, that they would not be held liable civilly or criminally for assisting a student with cannabis-based medicine. Ask for an aye vote on L007.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L007. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. To the bill, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 56 is the most important bill that will sponsor, that I'll bring this year. This is for Ben. This is for Amber. This is for Brad, the Wan family. In 2014, and as I was running for the state Senate, the Wan family began to contact me and ask if there was anything that I could do to get our school district, child protection services, our district attorney, and our sheriff to leave them alone. What had happened? One day, Amber, mom, took son Ben to school. And the school nurse asked Amber, why is Ben, who was an epileptic and whom the school nurse had helped at school through many epileptic seizures, the school nurse asked Amber, why is Ben not having seizures? And there on school grounds, dun, 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 Amber reached in her purse and pulled out a little plastic or glass vial of CBD hemp oil called Charlotte's Web. And she explained to the school nurse that as long as she and her husband gave Ben a consistent dosage of CBD oil, not something that can get you high, as long as Ben had a consistent dose of CBD oil, he did not have seizures. And members, that is 6+ years ago, coming up on 7 years, and Ben has not had seizures. Yay! That's a good thing. Under the duty to report law, the school nurse reported the Wan family for potential child endangerment. And the sheriff and child protection services and the district attorney and the school district all appropriately investigated the Wan family to determine whether or not they were endangering Ben's life by giving him something that cannot get him high, that made his seizures not happen. That was frustrating. I had to tell the Wans as I was running for the state Senate in 2014, no. As a state representative, hopefully a state senator, I do not have the authority to tell those other officials to leave you alone. But I do have the authority to pass legislation that would protect families like the Wans and the young man Ben, who you met on opening day last year in 2019. I was proud to introduce him. Members, this bill is really a milestone in this effort. I was proud to serve as a prime sponsor in 2015 of what was then Jack's Law, that allowed parents like the Wans or a designated caregiver to go on campus and dispense non-smokable cannabis-based medicine on school grounds. What this bill would do would require every school board, every school district to adopt its own policy to allow storage of cannabis-based medicine on school premises, like they do with pharmaceutical drugs, for instance, Ritalin, Adderall. Those are powerful drugs. It doesn't tell them how they have to store it. They can do it in exactly the same way, or if they want more security, they can do that too. But they have to adopt a policy that provides storage options for students who rely on cannabis-based medicine, non-smokable. That way students won't have it in their own possession. Wouldn't want to suggest that a student's going to work or going to school today with cannabis-based medicine on his or her person. But some moms and dads can't get off work to go do that. So this would really help, and it's a good public safety step to do this. The second thing that this would do is not require, but finally allow adults who work at the school, school nurse, teacher, coach, principal. It would allow them to assist the student in dispensing cannabis-based medicine. It doesn't require. If a person has an objection, says, I don't believe in that, I don't want to do that, they don't have to. They would be held immune. No criminal or civil liability would be incurred by saying, no, I don't want to do that. Same thing goes for those who do help. If a school nurse or someone else says, yes, I will help, I'll follow the doctor's instructions, working under the delegated authority of a doctor. If they do help, there's no criminal or civil liability. And they can't lose a license, a registration, a credential from the state. That's all been protected. That was another thing that we did with the CEA request for an amendment. Members, as I said in committee, if you have a reason to vote no on Senate Bill 56, please come down here and tell me, or just catch me one-on-one before we go to thirds. I'll work on that too. This is a great bill for parents and students who have struggled in this state unnecessarily. And this will help people. I think that this effort has helped people in a more significant way than anything else I've worked on in 10 years in the legislature. I'm proud to stand with my good friend from Denver and ask for an aye vote on Senate Bill 56.
Senator Gonzales.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I just want to let you know how critically important this bill will be to the folks who are directly impacted, to the young people, to their parents, to the school districts who have been looking for clarity. I want to acknowledge them and thank them for their perseverance. And I want to thank the good senator from Douglas County for his persistence in being able to work alongside the school districts, the federal government, and here at the state capitol to find a way forward to provide clarity and comfort to so many of these families. It's an honor to be working alongside him in this effort, and members, I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say a few words about this bill because we did hear it in committee. And I will say that when this bill came to committee, I think there were a lot of people that were very credulous about this policy. I think that when it came to committee, it did not have its votes to get out of committee. And then, through the process of testimony and working with concerned stakeholders on amendments, this bill came out of committee 7-0. I think that speaks to the work that was done on this bill. I think it also speaks to the nuance of this type of policy. If you just look at it on its face value, it's very easy to come to the conclusion, no, I don't think we should do this. But if you take the time to listen to the testimony, the proponents, all of the different stakeholders and the amendments that were adopted, I think this bill got to a good place. And it was surprising to me, quite honestly, because again, I didn't think this bill was going to come out of committee. It was powerful testimony, quite frankly. It was one of the best committee hearings that I've ever participated in. And I truly, truly encourage an aye vote on this bill because I think that it solves a problem. I think it supports families. And at the end of the day, it's about our students having what they need to be able to continue to function at school. And I encourage a yes vote.
Senator Coram.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I truly do wish to thank the sponsors for doing this. To give you a little history, when 2013 Amendment 64 passed, Senator Schwartz and I carried the legislation on hemp. And over the years, I have carried quite a bit of legislation. And I do remember probably the most powerful committee that I've been in when this subject came up. And I was so impressed with this young man. This young man's family moved from Arkansas to Colorado because of the availability of this. I'm not positive, but I believe his name was Dakota. I'm not sure. My wife could probably tell you because she's got a lot better memory than I do. Mine's like a steel trap. It's pretty rusted. But this young man was having 300 to 400 grand mal seizures a day. He was totally not functional. His vocabulary when they left Arkansas was about 5 or 6 words. Hungry, sleepy, tired, angry. No communications. The impressive part of this, after a few short months on this medication, and I do call it medication, he read and presented his testimony before the committee. If that would have been the only child in the state of Colorado that benefited from this, in my mind, it was worth it. But there are far, far more out there than this young man. So a wholeheartedly yes. Thank you.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, in wrap up, I said in committee I was wrong. If you went back to when the medical marijuana amendment passed to our Constitution, I was frustrated because I still don't think it should be in the Constitution. If it's going to be legalized, I would have preferred to see it statutorily. But I was wrong then because I believed then that real life-changing, symptom-curing medicine couldn't be made from the cannabis plant. I know now from meeting Ben Wan and many other children and adults that medicine can be made from the cannabis plant. I was wrong. If you have not had the opportunity to meet those people, parents or students, if you'd like to meet them, come let me know. I can introduce you. Advocates for the medical industry, cannabis industry in this building can help you meet them. I don't use the word miraculous or miracle to describe this because as a Christian I reserve those words for when there's no other explanation. It had to be an act of God. In these instances, people's lives have been changed significantly, and there is an answer. It's cannabis-based medicine. One of the most frustrating things about the Wan family story is they had to sue our school district for violating Ben's civil rights, access to cannabis-based medicine. That's one reason I'm running this bill. And during that lawsuit, apparently, from what I understand, someone from our school district suggested that maybe Ben never had epilepsy. After their employee, the school nurse, asked why is he not having epileptic seizures anymore after helping Ben through many epileptic seizures. Unbelievable. Members, this is a very, very good bill. I'm proud of it. I'm thankful for my prime co-sponsor. I'm also thankful to 2 people in the lobby. For the Colorado School Nurses Association, your lobbyist, Diane Protopopita, worked very hard to help solve the problems that existed in this bill and find solutions. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. And for those at the Colorado Association of School Executives, you are represented here by one of the finest lobbyists I've worked with. Her name is Elizabeth Rosen. She wasn't here to advocate for this bill and make sure it got done, but she tackled school district issues, concerns, one after another, and helped find solutions. And we wouldn't have had this great bill if it hadn't been for those 2 lobbyists. Ladies, thank you very much for your help. Members, this is a great bill. Ask for an aye vote. Sorry to take up so much of your morning, but this is the most important bill to me this session, and I'm grateful for your time and attention. Ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussions, the motion is the adoption of Senate Bill 56. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted.